Welcome back to Wombwise. We're here again, guiding hopeful parents like you through the often complex world where science meets the soul in fertility, IVF, and conscious conception.
And it's wonderful to be with you. This series is brought to you by Fertilope. We act as a fertility concierge based right here in Ahmedabad, India. It's a city, that's really becoming known globally for excellent, compassionate, and importantly, cost-effective IVF care.
A concierge? That sounds helpful. What does that actually mean for someone going through this?
It means we handle, pretty much all the logistics. Think doctor and clinic matchmaking, finding the right fit for you. We manage appointment scheduling, coordination, even comfortable long-stay accommodation with nutritious local food. And critically, we weave in emotional and wellness support. That includes counseling and also Garb Sanskar.
Okay, Garb Sanskar. For our listeners maybe outside India, could you just quickly touch on what that is?
Yes, certainly. Garb Sanskar is it's a beautiful traditional Indian practice. It's really about conscious parenting, even before birth. It involves things like gentle yoga, meditation, focusing your mind, connecting with your baby, all designed to create a really positive environment for both the mother and the developing child. We include it because, honestly, emotional well-being is just as vital as the medical side.
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
A holistic view. So today we're diving into a really key comparison. Natural conception, the dream many start with, versus IVF, the scientific path. And the aim isn't just to list differences, right? It's to help you understand when turning to science might be the smart, hopeful choice. We want to frame IVF not as something daunting, but maybe as an advanced partner to nature.
Exactly, partnering with nature. And to really grasp why IVF is sometimes needed, we first need to appreciate just how intricate natural conception is. Understanding the delicate points where things can commonly go wrong really shows why we sometimes need that scientific help. We won't go over all the basics, but let's focus on those fragile steps.
Right, where are the hurdles?
It really starts with ovulation. Now, most people know an egg gets released, but the real wonder is the hormones behind it. You have FSH and LH, those are the key ones. They act like messengers, telling the ovary exactly when to release that one mature egg, usually around day 14. If that signaling is even slightly off, well, the window can be missed.
Okay, so timing is everything, hormonally speaking.
Precisely. Then comes fertilization, the meeting point. Sperm have to make that long journey through the cervix, uterus, all the way to the fallopian tube to meet the egg. If they connect, you get the zygote, the first cell with the complete genetic code. But here's the thing. That fallopian tube has to be perfectly open, no blockages, and have the right environment. Even minor issues there, like inflammation, can stop everything.
And assuming they meet, there's still another step.
Yes, the final crucial step, implantation. That zygote starts dividing, becoming an embryo over the next, say, 4 to 5 days. Then, this tiny structure has to travel to the uterus and successfully attach itself to the lining. Implantation failure is actually quite common. Maybe the uterine lining isn't receptive, or the embryo itself just isn't strong enough to latch on. So you can see if you've been trying for maybe 6 months, a year, and any of these steps, the hormone timing, the tubes being clear, the uterus being ready are just a little bit off, the cycle likely won't work. And that's usually the point where science like IVF can step in to bridge that gap.
That framing helps a lot, IVF working around those common failure points.
Yeah.
But I imagine some people still feel, uneasy about taking conception outside the body. It feels less natural. How does IVF manage that shift from the body's complex internal world to a lab dish? Are there risks in sort of overriding nature's selection process?
That's a really important question, and it gets to the heart of it. IVF doesn't aim to replace nature. It's more about providing a controlled, stable environment to help those same steps happen successfully, but under careful supervision.
Okay, so how does that look, step by step?
Well, it starts by managing that very first step. Ovarian stimulation. Instead of waiting for the body to pick just one egg, we use specific medications, very carefully monitored, to encourage the ovaries to mature multiple eggs. This is key because it gives embryologists more choice, a better chance of finding the healthiest eggs later.
Is that risky, stimulating multiple eggs?
There is a small risk called ovarian hyperstimulation syndrome, or OHSS, but it's minimized with really close monitoring and adjusting medication doses. That close supervision is a big part of the care we ensure our clients get. Then, once the eggs are ready, we have the egg retrieval. It's a short procedure, usually done under light sedation. The eggs are gently collected. It's medical, yes, but quick and safe.
And that's when things move to the lab.
That's right. Next is fertilization in the lab. The collected eggs are combined with sperm. Sometimes we use techniques like ICSI, where a single sperm is injected directly into the egg, especially if there are sperm issues. This just helps ensure fertilization occurs. Then, the embryos are watched very closely for several days. We monitor how they're growing, assess their quality.
So you can pick the best one.
Exactly. This intense monitoring lets us identify and select the embryo or embryos that look the strongest, the most viable. It removes a lot of the guesswork that's inherent in the natural process. The fourth step is the embryo transfer. Here, the selected healthy embryo is placed directly into the uterus, bypassing the fallopian tubes altogether.
And the goal is still implantation.
Still implantation. That's the final biological step we're aiming for. And we check for that with a pregnancy test about 10 to 14 days later. So you see, while we intervene, each step is really designed to optimize the same biological goals, fertilization, implantation, that nature intends. We're just removing some of the variables that can cause things to fail repeatedly.
That sense of control seems like the major difference then. If we boil it down, what are maybe the top few differences people should really understand when comparing natural versus IVF? Beyond just where it happens, what's the real-world impact of that control?
Okay, good question. The impact really comes down to, I'd say, opportunity and planning.
Opportunity.
Yes. Let's look at success rates per cycle. Naturally, for a healthy couple under 30, the chance each month is around 15 to 20%. With IVF, those chances per attempt jump significantly, often somewhere between 40 and 60%, though this really depends on age and the specific clinic. That's a big difference. IVF essentially gives you more concentrated chances in a shorter time because we're often working with multiple eggs and embryos.
Right. More shots on goal, so to speak.
Kind of, yes. And then there's the timing and predictability. Natural conception hinges on hitting that fertile window perfectly, which can be, well, frustrating month after month. IVF, on the other hand, is almost entirely scheduled and planned. This lets couples manage other parts of their lives, work, travel, even just mentally preparing much more effectively.
That predictability sounds appealing. But let's be real here. Those success rates are encouraging, but IVF involves a lot. It's expensive, it's physically demanding, and emotionally. It takes a huge toll. How does that factor into the comparison?
It absolutely has to be factored in. You're right, natural conception might seem less stressful initially, maybe even free financially, but the stress of month after month or year after year of trying and failing, that can become incredibly draining, psychologically devastating even. IVF sort of flips that. Yes, it's definitely higher stress up front, the medications, the appointments, the financial commitment, but it offers much greater assurance in the sense that you know you're doing everything medically possible. There's a clearer process, often a more defined endpoint. Whether it works or not, you feel like you're actively maximizing your chances with top medical help.
So the emotional journey is just different.
Very different. And this is where the emotional support becomes so critical. The IVF path is structured, yes, but it's packed with emotional peaks and valleys, the waiting, the results, the uncertainty. It demands incredible resilience. It needs more than just science. It needs emotional scaffolding.
Which brings us right to those emotional realities. Science offers that assurance, maybe.
Yeah.
But the waiting periods, the hormones, that can feel very isolating, can it?
Oh, profoundly isolating sometimes. You know, natural conception might start with excitement, but it can slide into this kind of passive anxiety, just watching the calendar, wondering why it's not happening. IVF is more like active anxiety. You're involved in every step, which gives a sense of agency, but it also requires enormous emotional stamina.
Yeah.
And that's precisely why we built the holistic support into what Fertilope does. Science needs that compassionate side. We offer counseling, coordinate those wellness practices like Garb Sanskar or yoga, just so people feel supported through the ups and downs, the monitoring, the waiting, all of it.
Can you share an example? Maybe bring it to life.
Yes. Let me tell you about Ankita and Rohan. They came to us from Pune after 2 really tough years of trying naturally. They described feeling just trapped in this cycle of hope each month, followed by crushing disappointment. It was straining in their relationship, making them feel like something was fundamentally wrong with them.
That sounds exhausting.
It was. When they contacted Fertilope, they weren't just looking for a clinic. They were desperate for a way out of that emotional spiral. So we connected them with a specialist known for handling cases like theirs, but we also handled everything else, arranging their long stay in Ahmedabad, making sure they had good food, setting up counseling. We managed the logistics so they could just focus.
Focus on the treatment and themselves, not the travel plans and appointments.
Exactly. All their energy went into healing and hope, not coordination chaos. They felt genuinely guided, supported through the hormone treatments, the transfer procedure. And when Ankita got that positive pregnancy test, well, the relief was just immense. She said something that really stuck with me. IVF gave me what nature couldn't, but Fertilope gave me the courage to keep believing.
Oh.
It's such a powerful reminder that IVF isn't fighting nature. It's often working in partnership with your body to reach that same beautiful outcome.
That's a lovely way to put it. And it really sums up our key learnings, doesn't it? Both paths rely on the same biology, ovulation, fertilization, implantation. IVF just adds precision, control, making success possible when things aren't quite aligning naturally. And maybe most importantly, that emotional support isn't just nice to have, it's vital. Okay, so let's shift to some practical questions people often ask. We've gathered the 5 most Googled FAQs about this, ready to tackle them.
Let's do it. Fire away.
First, can IVF work if I can conceive naturally? Seems counterintuitive, maybe.
It does, but yes, it absolutely can work. While most people using IVF do have fertility challenges, some couples choose it for other reasons. The main ones are usually pre-implantation genetic screening, or PGS, to check embryos for genetic conditions before transfer. Or sometimes it's simply for a very precise family planning or timing.
Okay. Second, does IVF guarantee pregnancy? People hope it's a sure thing.
We have to be really clear here.
Okay.
No. Unfortunately, no medical procedure can guarantee pregnancy. But IVF significantly boosts the probability compared to trying naturally, especially as women get older. You know, for women over 35, natural fertility declines more rapidly, and IVF offers a really critical advantage then.
Makes sense. Third, which one is safer, natural or IVF?
Both are considered very safe when you're under proper guidance. Natural conception obviously involves minimal direct medical intervention. IVF involves more hormone meds temporarily, minor procedures like the egg retrieval, but it's all done under intense medical supervision. Safety is the absolute priority in IVF, managed through careful, personalized monitoring.
Right. Fourth, does having IVF affect my future chances of conceiving naturally? Does it use up eggs or change things?
No, there's absolutely no evidence that IVF treatment harms your future natural fertility. In fact, anecdotally, we sometimes see couples who have their first child via IVF conceive their second naturally later on. It might be that the diagnostic process identified and treated minor issues, or maybe just reducing the stress helped. But IVF itself doesn't negatively impact future natural chances.
Good to know. And finally, fifth, can lifestyle changes improve success for both natural conception and IVF?
Oh, absolutely. Undeniably. Lifestyle is the one constant you really can control. Things like eating a balanced, nutrient-rich diet, getting regular moderate exercise, definitely stopping smoking and limiting alcohol, managing stress effectively. All these things are proven to boost fertility outcomes, whether you're trying naturally or going through IVF. It helps everything.
Great answers. Very clear.
Well, at Fertilope, our whole commitment is really about providing that clarity, along with comfort and genuine care for every choice you make on your path to parenthood.
And if you're listening and want to keep learning, definitely subscribe to WombWise. Also, do check out the description below. We've listed some really useful recommended reading, books like It Starts with the Egg and the Fertility Diet, and some helpful products too, like ovulation kits and specific prenatal vitamins.
Yes, those resources can be really supportive.
And crucially, if you feel you need more personalized help, maybe navigating clinic options, sorting out a supportive long stay, or just getting that vital emotional backing, please reach out to the Fertilope IVF concierge team.
The best way to do that, to get direct guidance, is through the dedicated LinkedIn link that you'll find in the show notes. That's your direct line to our team.
Perfect. Use that LinkedIn link.
And please join us next time for episode 5. We'll be tackling a big question. What's the ideal age to start IVF? We're going to explore age, success rates, and how to plan smartly.
Sounds essential. We look forward to it. And again, for that personalized support, check the show notes for the LinkedIn connection.
And one final, very important reminder. All the information shared here is for educational purposes. It's not a substitute for personalized medical advice. Always, always consult with your own fertility specialist before making any decisions about your treatment. Fertilope, your personal IVF guide.